And right now, I am standing with a Grammy Award winning songbird. She's often quoted as being one of the most iconic African influences of our time. It gives me great pleasure now to switch to and speak to Angelique Kidjo, who joins us this afternoon. Angelique, it's such an honor to speak with you today. But let's get a sense of what brings you to Davos.
Well, I came to Davos to receive the Crystal Award that Davos gave to artists and humanitarian that brings something to change the world. And I was supposed to be here yesterday, but I couldn't make it because my plane had been struck twice by lightning. But I'm here today because my continent deserved me to be here, and my ancestor was protecting me for me to be here alive. That's why I'm here.
Well, we're very glad that you're here. I mean, you've put the country of Benin on the map, and of course, you've definitely put the continent on the map. But when you look at the conversations that are being had here at Davos, do you get a sense that Africa and Africa's challenges are top of mind?
Africa challenges will be on top of mind when African people will make it their priority. And I think that we need more African people to put their differences aside, their feelings aside, and think about the well-being and the interest of our continent. This is the place where we have to come and show the positive Africa we're talking about, the strong Africa we're talking about. At least me, the Africa I'm talking about, of diversity, of potential, of challenge, and of success. That's what I represent here. We're always going to have some problems, but if we don't start dealing with it, creating an environment of job for our youth in Africa, we'll have more and more youth that will join extremist group. We'll have more and more youth in Africa that want to live in the Western world while there are no potential and no chances of making difference in Africa. We need to educate our children and our narratives. We need to own it. We need to tell it here and tell the leaders, the business leaders here, that Africa have to be counted with, because Africa is the continent where you have more growth more than anywhere else in the world. Where are we to tell that narrative? What are we doing for people to take us serious as business partner? We can't sit back and wait for them to do it for us. We have to do it for ourselves.
And of course, 2015 is a very important year in the African context. We're moving into the post-millennium development goal era. You've been a very strong advocate for girl-child education in particular. How do we ensure that we build on some of the achievements that we've made in the space?
Well, by looking at the state of education today in Africa. We've enrolled a lot of kids to school, but what is the quality of education that we are giving them? Our kids, are they really ready to take on the challenge of this century? I don't think so, because some of them don't know how to read or write. And enrolling kids is easy, but the curriculum, what are we teaching our kids that are relevant to their reality and the workplace that is global today? That's the question that we have to ask our leader and campaign with them, lobby the leaders for our teacher to be trained, to be bring up to speed, for telling them how we have to raise our kid and how we have to educate them. The content of our education have to be set by us. We have to set the agenda of what we want our kids to learn. We have to create the workspace that they need to thrive on and become the entrepreneurs of this century and the next century. And then that, what we create, we can export it. We can also export brain and capacity and talent, not only diamond, not only oil. We have brain in Africa, brilliant brain in Africa, but we have to create the surrounding for those brains to be put to the service of our country, of our continent, and to the world. We have to show the world that if we, Africans, we get to the point where we need to get, we can share. We have to become the Mandela of economy in the world. We don't hold grudges with people. What we do that it profit us, we will share with the world, and we all gonna help you when you need help. So we Africans, basically, what I'm saying with my music and what I'm saying as a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, as an activist, is the beauty of Africa that I know. the brilliant people that I go to and see, people like you. Every time I come to Africa and I come back, I'm just pumped up.
Right.
And then that energy that I give around, I want it to be bounced back to Africa. I want Africa to respond to that energy and to say, you know what? This is the new generation. This is how we want to do it. And Davos, you want us? We're going to come and challenge you. We're going to come and tell you what we do, how we want to do it. You want to partner with us? You want to be part of this challenge, or you just want to let go and then we do it by ourselves? We have to do it.
Finally, Angelique, of course, we're seeing a new African narrative, a new kind of Africa and an African rising. But you've done work with Oxfam. You know what the inequality stats say. And you know that there's also the risk of an Africa left behind. How do we ensure that the conversations that are being had here at Davos translate not only to the affluent African, but the one who's potentially at risk of being left behind?
Well, the one that are potentially left behind is the responsibility of the wealthy Africans. Are they investing in their countries? Are they investing in their continent? We cannot wait for people to do. I mean, that's what I'm saying. We have ourselves to do to prove that, okay, I am a leader of a business in South Africa, for example. I own a company. And that company, I can expand it. How can I expand that company? To create job. You create job at the same time as you are educating. We have to educate. We have to have CEOs in Africa that are educated, not only knowing their own culture, but the surrounding of the business around the world. That's how we can do change. We can do things that happens. We can transform Africa within a decade if we have the leadership that can follow us and create the environment for education and good economy.
Angelique, thank you so much for making the time to join us. Angelique Kidjo, Grammy Award-winning songwriter and, of course, musical artist.